sexual education and sexual conservatism. How does that apply to making abortion legal in America? Well, I'm going to lay some of that out for you. I'm Garnick, the Inquisitive Veteran. Let's get started. So, here in America, a lot of states tend to go for sexual education that is abstinence only instead of a comprehensive sexual education. And a lot of people believe that is the correct way to do it. And they also give parents a lot of choice whether their children participate or not. And there's an issue with that. In fact, only 24 states and Washington, D.C. require sex ed. 21 states of those require sex ed and HIV education. And only 20 states require that the sex ed be technically, medically, or factually correct or accurate. And that's a bit terrifying, especially since we have the most rampant STD rate amongst teens in the developed world, and 40% of high school students have had sex, and 25% of all girls have had one pregnancy by the time they turn 20. And it makes you wonder, well, how does that apply to abortion? And we need a comprehensive sex education system here in America to teach kids, essentially kids, the joys, but also the risks that come along with having sexual intercourse. I mean, when you have 25% of teenage girls by 20 have gotten pregnant, obviously, something's wrong with that, and we don't want to, give access to abortions here in America. People think that it's the worst thing on earth, but we shouldn't. A comprehensive sexual education, not only would it help with lowering the desire and the need for abortions, it would also drop STD rates because kids would be taught that condoms are good. It's not a bad thing to go buy them. I mean, hell, the first time I bought condoms, they're like, oh, I need this pack of condoms. Oh, Lord. Oh, and I was so nervous. Now I'm like, okay, I need those. Thanks. It's not a traumatic experience. It shouldn't be, at least, anyway. But here in America it is, because we're not very sexually liberal. And there was, during the time of the hippies, we were more sexually liberal. And that's helped push things in the right direction. But a lot of that stems from our sexual conservatism. The irony in that is, we use sex to sell everything. You show a bunch of young, attractive people who, let's be honest, they have all the traits that we find sexually attractive in people for evolutionary breeding purposes, to sell clothes, beer, cars, whoppers. It's like, come on. And the thing that we need to not be sexually conservative about, sex and sex education, we are. And it blows my mind. I don't understand it, except for the fact that, we have Puritan roots here in America. And that affects us, even today. Puritans got here in, 1620. And it's 2017. That's almost 400 years. And it still affects us. And in a very negative way. They believed that sex was a gift from God, so they were all about sex in a relationship, like a marriage. But sex outside of marriage, they were very And you see that even today in America. And that is one of the things that holds us back. I get a lot of crossover that I've seen between, pro-life and abstinence-only sex education, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and then it sets up an issue where you have kids out there, they have sex because, they're horny. He wants to put his P inside of her V, It happens. Unless you were to totally separate boys and girls from each other, it's eventually going to happen. And one of the really unfortunate things about, the denial of access to abortion is it's not the rich people that are hurt by it because they can afford to throw cash at the situation to make it disappear. It's poor people. And who, generally speaking, has the lowest standard of education? Poor people. And then who's more likely to have unprotected sex because they're taught abstinence-only sex education? Poor people. It's really unfortunate. That's really who gets hurt in this situation. It's the people who don't have the means to combat it. So we need to work on this. I mean, I get it. I don't want my kids to know about sex from anyone but me. But are you teaching them about sex? I mean, I've known people who they decided they didn't want to tell their children about sex, and they didn't want schools to tell them about sex. Like, I grew up with these kids, and they had kids outside of marriage, which was that's a big thing in their religion or in their family structure. But like, they never seem to put two and two together and come up with the four. Like, why is it that we do this to ourselves? We don't want to have abortions, but we don't want to teach kids like the actual risks of not using a condom and birth control. So we somehow think it's okay to force someone who's never really been informed of the risks to make a decision that, let's be honest, if you're not ready to have a kid and you have one, it fucks your whole life up. So we have people that have had kids at a young age, and then they can't advance their lives really unless they have a strong support structure. I mean, or they're just incredibly driven, and that helps start the loop again. So then their children, have kids when they're young because they usually don't know better. And those are the same people that will be like, abortion's evil. Well, like I said in the first video, our foster care system sucks. And in this video, our sex education system sucks. Like, people are just kind of screwed. Like, no matter how you cut it, the people who need the help can't get the help. And the people who don't need the help, they can afford to cover everything up. So, like, what the... I just don't get. I love my country, but there's something fucking wrong with this, isn't there? Like, am I the only one who sees this? Like, I can't be the only one that sees this. I mean, it blows my mind. You have young kids who fool around and they fuck their lives up because they don't know better. And then you have adults who have ulterior motives based on some whack job fucking skewed morality because of some fucking book or some weird fucking social belief, and it fucks the kids over. Or, so the kids can't have, they have babies having babies. Everyone's seen it. And so as time goes on, like, it's a vicious cycle, and the people who need to get the help can't get it because they fucking vote against their interests because, oh, well, this person seems to have the same beliefs that I do, and I've been taught my entire fucking life that, oh, abortion's evil, and I'm lucky that, my parents didn't have an abortion or some crazy bullshit like that, when we don't have the support structures in place to even help them. I mean, hell, even if, like, we fucked up and didn't do comprehensive education for sex ed, or the foster care system was still shit, if we even had, the welfare system in place where it wasn't a bunch of people fucking abusing it, like people claim there are, was like actually in place and we gave a shit about education in general in this country, this fucking problem would sort itself out pretty goddamn quickly. It just, sorry for the rant, but it blows my mind because there's just a couple small things that we could fix. Just a couple small things that we could fix. And no one wants to do it because they get all fucking indignant over some crazy bullshit instead of looking for the future. Like, I cannot be the only one that sees this. But that's it for this video. Sorry about the ranty part of it. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the more extreme circumstances. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down below. If you want to get involved, leave a comment down there. And if you really like my video and you want to see more of what I have to say, subscribe up there or down there. I'm Garnet, the Inquisitive Veteran. Pop and smoke.